If today someone told you that you had only 24 hours left to live, would you still spend your day the same way you do now? Would you still scroll endlessly through your phone, argue about small things, or lose hours in distractions that lead nowhere? No, you wouldn't. You'd hold every second like it was gold slipping through your fingers. You'd try to live every heartbeat with meaning, every breath with purpose. Because it's only when we realize that our time is limited that we finally begin to live fully. And that is the essence of the book, How to Stop Wasting Time. A book that doesn't just talk about managing minutes. It shakes you awake to the truth that every second counts. The author reminds us that time waits for no one. It flows like a fierce river, silent, unstoppable. Those who learn to move with it rise higher. Those who hesitate are left behind on the shore of regret. Every single person on this planet receives the same 24 hours, but some use those hours to climb the ladder of success, while others stumble and fall. The difference is not time itself, it's awareness. The first part of this book holds up a mirror and asks, why do we waste time? The author explains that time isn't lost all at once. It slips away quietly, bit by bit, like water leaking through invisible cracks. It begins with small excuses. I'll just take a 5-minute break. I'll start after one more episode. But those 5 minutes turn into half an hour, and that half an hour becomes another wasted day. We have become prisoners of our own small habits. We reach for the phone and start scrolling without thinking. We switch on the TV and lose ourselves in noise. Life moves forward, but we stay still. The truth is, we're not short of time, we're short of attention. The author says that the first step to stopping this cycle is simple. Understand your day. Watch yourself. Where does your time really go? Until you know that, you can't hope to manage it. Time management is not about creating a list of hours. It's about knowing your priorities. Imagine holding a glass jar. You need to fill it with big stones, small pebbles, and sand. If you pour the sand first, there'll be no room left for the big stones. But if you start with the big stones, the rest will fit naturally around them. That jar is your life. The big stones are your most important goals, your health, your purpose, your dreams. The pebbles are your responsibilities. The sand is everything else that simply fills space. If you start each day with your biggest stones, everything else will find its place. Time, the author says, is not meant to be chased. It's meant to be directed. Every decision, every small action, either builds your future or erases it. The tragedy isn't that time moves too fast. It's that we don't notice it moving at all. Think about how often we say, I don't have time. But time isn't hiding from us. We simply hand it over to distractions that don't deserve it. So take a moment and ask yourself, where is your time going? Is it flowing toward your goals or leaking into the cracks of habit? The author writes that the clock doesn't teach you time, your actions do. To understand time is to understand yourself, because the truth is, time doesn't work against you. It works with the rhythm of your focus. When you lose focus, you lose time. When you gain clarity, time expands, and that's where the journey begins. Before you learn to defeat procrastination, before you learn to master productivity, you must first learn to see. See where your time flows, where it hides, where it disappears. Because the moment you become aware of it, time starts to serve you. You don't need to control the clock, you need to control yourself. You don't need more hours, you need more intention. The river of time never stops, but when you learn to swim with its current, every moment becomes power in motion. They call it procrastination. But in truth, it is not laziness, it is fear wearing a clever disguise. Fear of failure, fear of starting, fear of what might happen if we actually try and fall short. The author says that procrastination is not the enemy of time, it's the thief of courage. We postpone not because we don't have the hours, but because our mind tells us we're not ready. And so we wait for a perfect moment that never comes. Think of how many dreams have quietly died waiting for the right time. How many plans have stayed trapped in notebooks because someone said, "I'll begin tomorrow." But tomorrow has a way of turning into next week, and next week into never. The book teaches that every time we delay, we create a small distance between our intention and our action, and that distance grows. The longer we wait, the heavier the first step becomes. The cure is not in motivation, it's in motion. Start, even when you're uncertain, even when you're afraid. Because motion creates clarity. Action builds belief. Once you move, momentum takes over. The author compares procrastination to standing at the edge of a cold river. We hesitate, telling ourselves we'll dive in when we're ready. But readiness is an illusion. The only way to adjust to the water is to jump. Every time you act despite discomfort, you weaken the chain that holds you back. Every time you give in, that chain tightens. And that's the secret. People who seem disciplined aren't fearless. They simply learn to act before their fear grows louder. They take the first step before their mind invents reasons not to. The author gives a simple truth. If you can't control your start, you'll never control your finish. The moment you say, "I'll do it later," your mind learns to trust delay more than action. But when you say, "I'll do it now," your brain begins to believe you are someone who acts, and that belief changes everything. So how do you defeat procrastination? Not by fighting it, but by understanding it. Ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? Is it failure or the responsibility that comes with success? When you name your fear, you take away its power. When you move in spite of fear, you find your strength. The author reminds us that perfection is the enemy of progress. Waiting to feel ready is the fastest way to waste a lifetime. Great things are never done because someone was fully prepared. They're done because someone began, stumbled, learned, and kept going. So take the smallest possible step. Write one line, make one call, walk one block. It doesn't matter how tiny it seems. The mind needs proof that movement is possible. Once it sees progress, even small progress, it begins to trust you again. Procrastination thrives on hesitation. Action destroys it. When you move, you break the illusion of later. You create momentum, and momentum is stronger than motivation. The author says, discipline is not about pushing harder, it's about beginning sooner. The moment you begin, resistance loses its grip. So the next time you catch yourself waiting for the perfect moment, remember, the perfect moment is created, not found. Every masterpiece began as an unfinished start. Every journey began with one uncertain step. Stop asking when to begin. Ask why you haven't yet. Because once you start, time itself begins to work for you. This is how you reclaim your power, not by chasing inspiration, but by taking control of the moment you have right now. And that, the author says, is how you stop wasting the most dangerous thing of all. Not time, but potential. Focus, the art of being fully present in one moment. In a world that worships speed, focus has become the rarest form of power. Every beep, every notification, every flicker of a screen competes for a piece of our attention, and slowly, without even noticing, we give it away. The author says that the human mind was never designed to process 1,000 voices at once. It was built to chase one vision with clarity. Yet today we have trained ourselves to scatter that vision across endless noise. We scroll while we eat. We listen while we type. We plan while we walk. Our hands move, but our mind drifts. We have mistaken movement for progress and busyness for purpose. The truth is, distraction doesn't steal your time. It steals your depth. It keeps you at the surface where nothing truly grows. You can read for an hour and remember nothing. You can work all day and feel empty, because your focus was never there. The author teaches that focus is not about staring harder, it's about simplifying. You cannot concentrate if your life is full of noise. You must clear the clutter before you can see clearly. Ask yourself, what truly matters right now? What single thing, if done well, would make everything else easier or unnecessary? That is where your focus belongs. Focus grows where intention lives. The more clearly you define your purpose, the less attractive distractions become. When your why is powerful, your what becomes obvious. The book explains that the brain seeks stimulation, not meaning. That's why it loves notifications, messages, constant change. To regain focus, you must retrain the brain to love stillness again. Try this. For 1 hour, silence every distraction. No phone, no music, no chatter. Just one task, one thought, one goal. At first it feels uncomfortable. Your mind will rebel, but stay with it, because that discomfort is focus being rebuilt. The author compares focus to a muscle. If you train it daily, it strengthens. Ignore it, and it withers. Start with small sessions, 10 minutes of total presence, then 15, then an hour. You'll notice that time begins to slow down for you. That's not magic. That's awareness. When you focus deeply, you create quality that shortcuts time. 1 hour of true focus equals 10 hours of half-hearted effort. That is how extraordinary people achieve more with the same 24 hours we all have. But focus isn't just about work, it's about living. When you eat, eat. When you walk, walk. When you rest, rest. Give yourself fully to the moment you're in, because divided attention divides life itself. The author reminds us that multitasking is a myth. You're not doing more, you're switching faster and losing energy with every switch. Each change of focus drains the brain's strength. So instead of juggling, simplify. Instead of doing everything, do the right thing completely. To protect your focus, guard your environment, clean your workspace, surround yourself with reminders of what truly matters, remove what doesn't. Focus is not just an internal state, it's a physical space built for clarity. And then, once you've found it, defend it. Because the world will always try to steal it back. There will always be noise, messages, temptations. But each time you choose silence over distraction, you grow stronger inside. In the end, focus is not about shutting the world out. It's about tuning yourself in. To your purpose, to your craft, to your life. Because when you master focus, you no longer chase time. You shape it. And that's how ordinary hours become extraordinary achievements. Discipline. A word that sounds heavy to many, as if it means punishment or restriction. But the author explains that discipline is not about control. It's about commitment. It's the silent promise you make to yourself when no one is watching. Most people wait for motivation to appear before they act. But the truth is, motivation is unreliable. It's emotional. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. It is the structure that holds your purpose when motivation fades. The author says, motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. That's why successful people don't rely on inspiration. They rely on systems. They understand that the moment you repeat an action often enough, it stops requiring effort. It becomes identity. Think of it this way. When you brush your teeth, you don't debate it. You don't wait for energy or excitement. You simply do it because it's who you are. That's how true discipline feels, not forced but natural. The problem is, most of us treat self-discipline like a battle against ourselves. We punish our mistakes, we overpromise, and when we fail, we feel guilt instead of growth. But discipline is not a war. It's a relationship with your future self. When you act with discipline, you're sending a message to the person you're becoming. I will not abandon you. The author explains that every small act of discipline, waking up early, finishing a task, saying no to distraction, builds self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of success. Because when you trust yourself to keep promises, your confidence becomes unshakable. The secret isn't to be strict, it's to be consistent. Consistency is stronger than intensity. Anyone can be great for a day. True strength is doing what matters every single day, even when it feels small. Imagine a drop of water falling on a stone. One drop changes nothing. But over time, those drops carve through the hardest rock. That's the power of consistency. Quiet, invisible, unstoppable. The author says, discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. But he also adds, don't aim for perfection. Aim for persistence. Perfection breaks under pressure. Persistence bends and keeps going. Some days you'll fail. You'll fall behind. But discipline isn't about never falling. It's about always returning. Every time you start again, you strengthen your will. And one day, what once felt impossible will become routine. If you want to transform your life, build habits that serve your purpose. Not dozens of habits, just a few that matter most. Because greatness doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from doing the right things every single day. The author reminds us that consistency doesn't mean doing more. It means never stopping completely. Even small progress is still progress. It's better to move slowly in the right direction than to sprint in circles. So ask yourself, what is one small thing you can commit to today? Not because you feel inspired, but because it aligns with who you want to become. Do it quietly. Do it repeatedly. That's how transformation happens, not in noise, but in silence. Because the truth is simple. Discipline is not about willpower. It's about love. Love for your goals. Love for your growth. Love for the person you are building. And when that love is strong enough, consistency becomes effortless. You no longer need to force yourself, you just show up. Because you respect the journey you're on. So remember this. Motivation may light the spark, but discipline keeps the flame alive. It's not what you do once that shapes your destiny. It's what you repeat when no one is watching. That is where strength is born, quietly, steadily, within you. Purpose. It's the silent force that makes time meaningful. Without it, even endless hours feel empty. With it, every second becomes power. The author says that purpose is not something you find, it's something you create. It's built from the moments that move you, the values you protect, and the impact you wish to leave behind. Most people spend their lives searching for passion, but passion is only the spark. Purpose is the fire that keeps burning long after excitement fades. Ask yourself, what do I want my time to stand for? Because when your life has purpose, your schedule finds direction. When you know your why, your how becomes clear. But without it, even hard work feels meaningless. The author reminds us that passion alone can burn out. It's emotional, like motivation. It rises and falls. Purpose, however, is stable. It's not a feeling, it's a decision. A commitment to something larger than comfort. Think about the people who inspire you most. They didn't achieve greatness because life was easy. They kept going because their purpose was stronger than their pain. When you live for something bigger than yourself, obstacles stop feeling like punishment. They become part of your training. The book explains that passion gives energy, but purpose gives endurance. Passion says, I love doing this. Purpose says, even when I don't, I'll keep going. That's the difference between a fleeting interest and a lifelong mission. To find your purpose, the author suggests a simple reflection. Ask not what you want from life, but what life wants from you. What problem are you meant to solve? What truth are you meant to share? What story only you can tell? Your purpose is often hidden inside your pain, the things you once struggled with most. Because what once broke you often becomes what you're meant to heal in others. When you align your time with your purpose, life stops feeling like a race. You stop chasing hours and start directing them. Every action starts to mean something. The author says that when you live with purpose, you begin to measure time differently. A single hour of meaningful work feels richer than days of random activity. Focus sharpens, clarity deepens. You no longer ask, how long will it take? You ask, how far can I go? That shift changes everything. But purpose is not found once and forever. It evolves as you grow. Every season of life offers a new reason to wake up. The goal is not to have one fixed purpose. It's to live with awareness of what truly matters to you right now. And here's the truth the author repeats again and again. Purpose gives your time direction, but passion gives it color. Both are essential. Purpose keeps you grounded. Passion keeps you alive. If you ever feel lost, return to what makes you feel alive, not entertained, but deeply moved. That feeling is your compass. Follow it, even if it scares you, especially if it scares you, because fear often guards the doorway to purpose. Once you discover what truly matters to you, protect it. Guard your time like it's sacred, because it is. Every hour invested in your purpose multiplies. Every hour wasted on what doesn't align drains your spirit. The author concludes this section with a powerful reminder. Don't ask how much time you have left. Ask how much life you can put into the time you have. Purpose doesn't extend your time, it expands it. It turns moments into meaning. It transforms ordinary days into legacy. So stop waiting for passion to find you. Start doing the work that matters to you. The rest will follow. Because when your life aligns with your purpose, you no longer fight time, you flow with it. And that is when time itself begins to serve your destiny. We spend most of our lives chasing time or running from it, but very few of us ever live in it. The author says something simple, yet life-changing. The only real moment you ever have is this one. Not tomorrow, not next week. Not when you're more successful, richer, or ready. Right now. This breath, this thought, this heartbeat. Everything that matters exists here. But we forget that. We replay the past, conversations, regrets, mistakes. We project the future, plans, fears, endless what-ifs. And in doing so, we lose the only thing we truly control, the present. The author explains that living in the present is not about ignoring your goals or giving up ambition. It's about anchoring yourself, so your actions come from clarity, not chaos. Because the mind that lives in the now is calm, focused, unstoppable. Think of time like a river. The past is the water behind you. You can't swim back. The future is the current ahead. You can't predict its flow. The present is the water beneath you. That's where your hands can move. That's where your strength matters. When you stop fighting the current and start flowing with it, life stops being a struggle and becomes a rhythm. The author gives a profound insight. Most people don't run out of time. They run out of presence. They live so fast that they forget to live deeply. But awareness slows time down. When you are fully in a moment, listening, creating, loving, learning, time expands. Minutes stretch. Seconds gain depth. You feel more alive because you are fully there. That's the secret of mastery. Not doing more, but being more present in what you do. The book calls it the alignment of time and being. When your attention and your action meet in the same place, that's when life feels effortless. You start seeing beauty in ordinary moments. The sound of the rain, the warmth of your coffee, the quiet before a new beginning. This is where gratitude grows, and gratitude is the most powerful way to save time, because it stops you from chasing what you already have. The author writes, every second you're thankful for becomes richer. And he's right. When you slow down and appreciate the now, you stop living on autopilot. You start living by design. The book ends with a simple, powerful challenge. Every morning, take 1 minute to just breathe. No phone, no thoughts, no noise, just breathe. Remind yourself, this minute is life, and it will never come again. If you can master that one habit, to return to the present, you will master time itself. Because the truth is, time isn't running away. It's waiting for you to notice it. So pause, take a breath, and come back to this moment. Because this is where your power lives. Not in the future you're chasing, not in the past you're replaying, but in the heartbeat of now. The author closes with a whisper of wisdom. When you truly live in the present, time doesn't pass. It becomes eternal. So, my friend, stop counting the hours. Start feeling them, because this single moment is where your force begins. Within you, time, it never stops. But neither do you. Every tick of the clock is asking a question. What will you do with me? Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Because every hour you spend with awareness is an hour that shapes your destiny. Every minute you live with purpose becomes a building block of your legacy. The author reminds us, the clock does not control you. You control how it's used. Time is not your master. It's your mirror. It reflects your choices, your focus, your truth. And when you begin to honor it, something powerful happens. You stop chasing life and start creating it. So as you step out of this story, remember, time is not passing through you. You are passing through time. Leave behind footprints that mean something. Fill every second with intention, every action with awareness. You don't need to rush. You only need to begin. Because the one who moves with time moves with life itself. Now take a breath. Look around you. This moment, right here, is your proof that you're alive. That you still have the chance to write the next page. So, from this second forward, live like time is your ally. Live like every sunrise is a new beginning. And when you fall behind, don't regret. Reset. Remember this truth. Time doesn't wait for anyone, but it always rewards the one who moves with it. So go. Take control of your clock. Shape your hours. Protect your purpose. And build your greatness. One mindful moment at a time. Because the force within you was never running out of time. It was only waiting for you to finally begin.